Hello, it's Friday again. Welcome back to Mr. Storytime. Actually, my hair's becoming a bit more unkempt as we can't have haircuts, but hey ho, we still move on. We are still reading the thing, and I got to the chapter about the Encyclopedia of Monsters, which they found in the vault. What do you think is going to happen next? Just tell anyone in your household now, or think it in your head. Okay. Let's find out. An Encyclopedia of Monsters. Mr. and Mrs. Meek set the book down on a rickety old table. Thud. The Monsterpedia was a huge leather-bound tome that must have been printed at least a few hundred years ago. It was, as the title suggested, an encyclopedia of monsters. Here you go, you can see them reading that huge book. Mrs. Meek blew dust off the cover and opened it. Might this book hold a clue to the existence of a thing? It was the Meek's final hope. The book was, as far as anyone knew, the only one of its kind in existence. Inside it was an alphabetical list of terrifying creatures that were either long extinct or assumed to be mythical, with lavish hand-painted illustrations of these creatures on the opposite page. Neither Mr. nor Mrs. Meek had seen or heard of any of them before. First, there was the Agadongdong, which is a man-eating underground bird. Sorry, this one here. Would like to see one of them. On the next page was a boo-boo, a giant slug. You can see it here. A giant slug that leaves a poisonous trail of slime in its wake. Then there was the crunkle toad, which is a reptile so ugly it can kill a man with a look. D was for dum-dum, a cross between a jellyfish and a warthog, and judging by the illustration, even more hideous than it sounds. Looks like it's out the Lion King. Next, we've got Ibinky Bonk. Ibinky Bonk. Could be out of, what's it called? The Night Garden. Ibinky Bonk. An amphibious monkey found only in the deepest depths of the oceans. Oh, A, B, C, D, E. I wonder what's next. The next page was F. The Meeks took a collective breath, praying that they would find what they were looking for. Thing! Exclaimed Mother. Yes, we did it. I could kiss you, said Father. Please don't. Not at work, darling. And the library has a strict no canoodling rule. Of course, how silly of me. Would you care to read out what it says? Mrs. Meek cleared her throat and began. Here we go. It's like an information text about a thing. Maybe you could create your own animal and write a text about it. That'd be good. A thing is a mammal. This, the most rarest of rare beasts, is found only in the deepest, darkest, jungliest jungle. The appearance of a thing is that of a fur-covered sphere. The size of the beast varies wildly. One moment, they can be as horrible as a marble, the next as large as a hot air balloon. Things have one large eye in the centre and a hole in either side. One hole is a mouth, the other is its, for want of a more polite expression, bottom. But nobody can be sure which hole is which, not even the thing itself, which has been known to try to feed using its bottom. Having no arms or legs, things move around by rolling, or sometimes even bouncing. Strangely enough, a thing's favourite food is biscuits of the custard cream variety. The thing beasts can devour 100 in seconds, but they will eat almost anything and everything. Things leave behind a trail of foul-smelling droppings, which can be as big, if not bigger, than the creature itself. Warning, never ever keep a thing in your house. They're the world's worst pets. Things are greedy, bad-tempered, and sometimes just plain rude. Sounds like Myrtle. Because they can grow to epic proportions, they may not just eat you out of the house and home. They may very well eat your home. Worst of all, they may even eat you. Doom awaits you. Will they still want it for Myrtle? Let's find out. After she had finished reading, they both pored over the picture. The thing was a peculiar looking thing. The illustration, just as the words described, showed a ball of brown fur with one eye between two dark holes. Oh dear, said Father. Oh dear indeed, agreed Mother. With that, she closed the book. Well, that's the end of that then. There is no way our darling daughter can have a thing. Poor thing. She's going to be so bitterly disappointed, said Father. I know. Well, I think it's best you break the bad news to her. Me? Yes, Mr. Meek, it's your turn. No, protested Miss Meek. It is definitely your turn. Let's do it together, reasoned Mrs. Meek. A splendid idea. Thank you. You go first. Chapter 9. Rolled in rabbit droppings. Where do rabbit droppings come into all this? So, with heavy hearts, Mr. and Mrs. Meek picked up their daughter from school. Once again, I mean picked up literally. They picked Myrtle up and carried her all the way home before depositing her as gently as they possibly could on the sofa. But maybe not that hard. There's a picture. Mr. and Mrs. Meek were trying to hide the worry they were feeling at breaking the bad news to their daughter, but it was daubed all over their faces. Perhaps you might like to play a game, Myrtle, my love, suggested Father, or do a jigsaw, or watch the TV. Distraction. Cartoons, demanded Myrtle. Here's the remote, said Mother, handing her daughter the chocolate-stained black gadget. Myrtle scowled back at her. You press the button for me, you lazy old moo. Mrs. Meek did what she was told, and a cartoon flickered onto the TV screen. Myrtle liked the violent ones the best, where animals ran into walls, fell off cliffs, or simply exploded. Her favourite cartoon series were Pigs in Peril, Thumperoo, Ants in Your Pants, Amoebazilla, Tales of the Giant Amoeba, Hippopotamus Snot, Grunter the Gorilla, Monkey Wee Monkey Do, Crush the Cockroach. With their daughter momentarily distracted by the sight of a cartoon rabbit being flattened by a steamroller, Mr. Meek nodded to his wife. This was her cue. She scurried off to the kitchen. They had a secret plan. The pair hoped that if they gave their daughter the biggest slab of chocolate cake in history, this would soften the blow of her not getting the thing. A cartoon finished, and as the theme music played, Myrtle remembered what she had forgotten. Where's my thing? She shouted. Cake, cake, cake! Coming right up, Father, replied Mrs. Meek, staggering into the living room, carrying a stupendous slab of cake. It was the size of a small garden shed. There you go, Myrtle, my angel, she said as she set it down on the coffee table. Thud! Haven't you got a bigger slice? Demanded the girl. Sadly not, replied Mother. It's bigger than the cake it came from. This, of course, couldn't strictly be true, but it fooled Myrtle. It looks like delicious cake, my beautiful bunnykins. Do tuck in, prompted Father. Not being a regular use of cutlery, Myrtle simply leaned forward and buried her face in the cake. It was how a hog might enjoy its dinner. Mother and Father sighed of relief. Whew. That feeling was sadly not to last. In no time at all, the girl had polished off the giant slab of cake. She lifted her head, her face now covered in chocolate icing. I want my thing, she repeated, spraying her parents with chocolate cake crumbs as she spoke. Mr. and Mrs. Meek were covered from head to toe. It looked as if they had been rolled in rabbit droppings. That's where the rabbit droppings come in. Ah, yes, of course, the famous thing, began Father before losing his nerve. I will let your mother take over from here. I'm going to finish there for now. and we'll see what happens in the reaction of Myrtle on Monday. Thank you for listening. Hope you're enjoying Thing, and have a lovely weekend. See you later.